I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know the feedback that we're getting and all of our new people who are interacting with our podcast has just been such a gift to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I never would have thought some of the things that I learned in my life, the messy messes and the things that I actually finally figured out and everything in between would be something that God could use to encourage millions of people. But he's not only done it, but he's doing it again. And you guys just mean the world to me. I want you to know that I love you. I am praying for you, and I believe in breakthrough for you. And that's what today's session is going to be about, breaking through the things that hold you back. We're going to talk about trauma. We're going to talk about belief systems. We're going to talk about the people we hang around. Yep, I'm going there. We're going to talk about what we actually are doing in our journey to get ourselves stronger and better and where we should be, and why we either hold ourselves back or we let situations hold us back. So today, let's break through on these things that are holding you back, and let's go forward into your destiny. Here we go. We are going to have some fun. We're going to have lots of fun. And what I want to share with you is going to come with passion, with wisdom, and as somebody who's built companies for 27 years. As someone who has a story of experiencing more than 15 life-threatening traumatic events in her life. People who live through what I went through do not go to build 18 companies. Typically, people who live through what I lived through end up heroin addicts in prison or dead. I need you to just consider that. And the reason I tell you that is not to impress you, but for you to understand. And here's the thing, you can understand it, but until you believe it, that I was probably most likely, many of you can relate with one or two of the things that have happened in my life. I haven't shared everything. And many of you believe that that gives you hope, and you could do the same thing if you just had fill in the blank breakthrough. But I'm going to prove to you today that the thing that you thought you needed is not what you need. And for you to have the success that your capacity affords you to have, you're going to have to accept what I'm going to share with you as truth, or you won't get there. Not because I'm some whatever, but because this is proven, it is the linchpin in all of breakthrough. And I'm going to absolutely assault your limiting beliefs today, not with anger, not with passion, not by raising my voice, but by bringing you truth and challenging you. And like I shared last week, when you're challenged, check this. When your mind and your neural pathways are challenged, and they are confronted with the question of what is truth, several things can happen. Oftentimes in my therapy sessions or EMDR, we'll get to a point, I don't know when it's going to happen. Initially, it used to scare the crap out of me. It might scare the crap out of you when it happens. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to happen today, but it could. Where we're working through one of my limiting beliefs, and I have to challenge that belief. And then all of a sudden, I feel like a storm is coming in. What do I mean by that? All of a sudden, sometimes it'll feel like my equilibrium's off. Like I have fluid in my ear. Like all of a sudden, somebody took the room and went, whoosh. Like all of a sudden, I lose my bearings. Sometimes it lasts for about 10 seconds. It can last for up to 5 minutes. Now, we're not going into any kind of intensiveness work today, but I've confronted some deep rooted beliefs that everything that God has wired in my brain to keep me alive, to keep me self-sustaining, to keep me going, those are parts of your brain that operate with your ego and your psyche and all of that. God designed all that. We've challenged some of my beliefs to the point that I felt disoriented for about 4 hours until my brain resettled that, changed that, and the dust fell. And many of you run away from that. Many of you say, I'm so overwhelmed. No, you're not. Clinically and psychologically and physiologically, your brain is saying, and it's not because of what is in front of you that you have to do, like you've always believed. It's because it's challenging something in there. And many of you have been sold a demonic lie from the pulpit that the moment you start feeling that way, you should rebuke it. It's demons. It's a threat. It can't be from God. God doesn't bring confusion. God is not the author of the spirit of confusion. No, he's not. But your neural pathways might have been hanging on to a lie for so long that it confuses the pathology, the physiology of what's going on up there. And what you attribute to absolute confusion or even spiritual confusion, which can be real. Yes, I'm not telling you not to rebuke confusion. When a spirit of confusion comes around, you need to tell that thing to go back to hell. But I'm telling you, when you are intentionally confronting your beliefs and you are attempting to get breakthrough, you cannot keep rebuking everything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Some of my breakthrough was a month-long stomach ache. Some of the greatest breakthroughs that have happened to me in the last 5 years that many of you have seen, most of you, if not all of you, would have ran because it caused massive diarrhea, took away my sleep, made me feel like I was going to die sometimes because it was so uncomfortable and it wouldn't go away. And yet you beg me and other trainers and you read books and you scour the internet and you search podcasts and you hunt on YouTube. And the very thing you need, God has sent over and over and over and over and over and over again. And yet when you get to that breakthrough point, you run. Breakthrough ain't pretty, honey. You got strong fortresses that you built up in your neural pathways. We're not even talking about your agreements with the enemy. For the context of we're talking about right now, I am talking about your physiology. And I'm going to say something right now that I guarantee you, some of you are going to hang up. You're going to hang up because your root system has been so programmed in you so deeply that you might be mad at me for what I'm about to say. I love you. Here we go. Breakthrough is not about a strategy, missing information, or even some secret setup of your website, your content, your videos, etc. This is recorded, so you don't need me to keep repeating it or writing it down. Breakthrough is not about some strategy, missing information, or even some secret setup of your website, content, or video that you are missing. No, it's about you. It's about you, Amber. It's about you, Dana. It's about you, Diana. It's about you, Jennifer. It's about you, Kathy. It's about you, Margot. It's about you, Sue. It's about you, Tina. It's about you, Yolanda. It's about you believing that what you do will work because you're following the directions. So you think. You don't see that you're missing 20% of it. You don't see that you actually didn't do what the person said. You don't see that you did do it perfectly, but you don't believe it's going to work. It's about you believing that what you do will work. That is when, listen to this, that's when you believe what you do in your business, in the gym, in the relationship, when you start doing what you believe, that you believe it's going to work, you're going to start doing what matters. And you're going to see things differently. As a matter of fact, you're going to do the very things that you're doing right now differently. Because right now, you just don't know what you don't know. And right now, you don't know, most of you, that you actually have everything you need to make 6 figures. And it's not another course and another class and another video. You need to stop hunting. You need to stop telling yourself, I need somebody to show me how. I'm going to prove it to you that you don't need somebody to show you how. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm not being mean. I'm not being harsh. I'm not being pushy. I'm going to prove it to you. That's why you're going to get breakthrough. Most of you believe in me way more than you believe in yourself. Many of you have already concluded that the reason you're not seeing the kind of success you want is because you don't know how to do it. Most of you have already concluded. You've already decided. You already are operating under the conviction, which takes a different part of your brain than curiosity. So you operate with conviction that you're not seeing the kind of success you want because you don't know how to do it every time you watch class. You're operating with a conclusion that the reason you're not having the kind of success that you want is because you don't know how to do it. Every time you watch another video, another Instagram post, another, and you've actually hardwired a habit. You've hardwired a habit that came from K through 12. It's programmed really deeply in you that the only reason you're not as fit as you want to be, you're not as romantic as you want to be, you're not getting the sleep you want, you're not eating the food you want, you don't have your social media content regularly published, people aren't interacting with you, you don't have a website up, you don't have an email up, you don't have an opt-in, and fill in the blank is because you don't know how to do it. That's what you believe. And yet, that belief is what's driving your habits that actually cause you to pull back as soon as you feel any kind of discomfort. As soon as you watch something and you get convicted, or you all of a sudden sense, oh my gosh, I feel lightheaded. I'm falling asleep while I'm watching the videos. I'm actually sitting here doing homework for the inner circle, and my child's over there needing me. And I know I should be taking care of them, but I'm doing the homework for inner circle. And I ordered a pizza again, 3 days in a row, fast food. And I know it's not the best thing for my family, but I'm watching the video for inner circle because I've got to learn how to do it. Do you see how you're sabotaging yourself? The habits you're reinforcing is I don't know how to do it. And because of that, I'm doing the things I wish I wasn't doing. I'm going to help with that today. And you need better habits. And I'm going to show you how to get better habits. So let's back up. I'm going to write something on the board and I'll be right back. And again, is that backwards? Because Zoom keeps reversing I think I might have to change my video. It's all good? Okay, cool. Well, that's weird. Zoom changed things because it's right. It's the correct for me and for you. So that's bizarre. I don't know how that works. But what do you expect breakthrough to bring? Write it down. Some of you just immediately got lightheaded. Some of you actually are like, I don't know. But you're convinced you need it because you're not having the kind of success you want. Write it down. You don't have to write it down for anybody else to see it. It's for you. What do you expect breakthrough to bring? Because what you expect breakthrough to bring matters. It's what's fueling why you think you're missing a strategy, you're missing information, you're missing some secret setup of your website, your content or video. What you expect breakthrough to bring is why you think it's so easy for me, Chalene Johnson, Brock Johnson, Jennifer Allwood, Gary Vee, the list goes on. You think it's easier for us because we know that stuff. And you believe that if you just knew that stuff, it'd be easier for you too. But that's not the truth. That's a lie. Most of you already know what to do. And it's a lie if you think it's easy. It's not. I don't feel like posting social media content every day. Sometimes I don't feel like coming here and talking to you guys. 75% of the time, I don't want to go to the gym. You kidding me? I'd rather just snuggle under my blanket. Jeez. Watch some more of Dembe on, with the Blacklist. That's one hot chocolate man. Any of you saw my stories knows I DM'd him and asked him if he was married. He had DM'd me back and said it was. I said, bless you, bye. Oh. Some of you think it's easier. Some of you think we have some kind of superpower. We know something, and as soon as you know it, everything will be easy for you. And as a matter of fact, my saying that out loud is giving some of you a stomach ache. I'm sorry for laughing at that. I don't mean, because that can be interpreted like I'm belittling. I'm not at all. I'm wanting to laugh with you. I've gotten to the point that as soon as I start feeling like I'm swirling, I'm like, oh, okay, here comes breakthrough. My brain is like, warning, warning, Will Robinson, warning, pending doom. And I have to remind my parts, it's not pending doom, hon. It's okay. We're going to challenge this belief. We most likely already know what we need to do. It's just a matter of really letting that sink in and believing it. What do you expect breakthrough to bring? Do you expect it to make it easier? Do you expect money to all of a sudden appear? Do you expect you'll stop losing sleep? Do you expect your spouse will stop driving you nuts, asking you when you're going to make money? Do you expect you'll stop feeling stupid? Do you expect that you'll stop staring at your screen? Do you expect that you'll stop using your phone so much for social media that when it sends you your weekly log, you're going to vomit every time it tells you one more time you use that damn phone? Oh, I did just say that dang phone for 8 hours a day? And you still didn't make any money? What do you expect breakthrough is going to give you? Because this is why it's reinforcing. It's got to be something I don't know. It might be something you don't know, but I can tell you stuff you don't know till I'm blue in the face. And if you don't believe that you can do it and you don't start doing different things, you're going to be here next year listening to me talk about this. Boy, she's really good at influencing friends and influencing people and winning friends. Isn't she? Sandy's membership subscription is going to go way up if she keeps talking like this. Actually, it does keep going way up. because I'm telling you the truth that very few people tell. And I am telling you what has changed and revolutionized my life. A lot of what I do now is so much easier than what I used to do. And it's not because I have a new acquired skill. It's because my beliefs in me have changed. What do you expect breakthrough to bring? I'll give you a little few minutes to keep writing, and then I'm going to drop another bomb on your neural pathways. Okay? Love you. What is it you really need? What is it? Some of you say more money. Well, we attacked that last week. And if you haven't listened to last week's, please, before you go back and listen to this again, listen to last week's. Some of you are like, if we don't get any more money, we're going to lose our house. I need to make more money. I get that, but that's a lie. Because the truth of the matter is you need to be with your family. You need to know you're not going to die. You need to have enough food and water to eat, and you need a safe place to sleep. And it may be devastating, and it may break your heart, and it may make you sad if you lose your home. But that's not what you really need in order to make money to not lose your home. Some of you actually need to know you're not going to die if you lose your home. Some of you actually need to know your spouse isn't going to leave if you lose your home. Some of you actually need to know that you actually can get back up after a devastating loss. What is it you really need? Because what you're telling yourself you need, it's not true. Otherwise, you would be having a different level of success. And if you're not willing to confront that lie, you will never get there. What is it you really need? Do you need to know that it's okay if you don't want to run a business? Do you need to know that God's not going to be mad at you and disappointed in you and take blessing away from you if you don't run this business? Because some of you, that might be the gateway to making your first million. Sometimes we just need to know we have a choice. And you might say, I don't have a choice because my spouse is always fighting with me. I don't have a choice because everybody's always giving me an opinion. I don't have a choice because my head won't shut up at night bothering me. And the remunerations that are going on in my mind, it's over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Do you see how you're reinforcing a lie? You do have here's the truth, okay? If you have remunerations running through your head over and over and over and over and over again, keeping you awake at night, if you have a spouse who's constantly nagging at you, if you're like getting physically sick and you're wore out and all you want to do is sleep, that's still not telling you what you really need. That's telling you what you currently believe. The memory you're trapped in is a lie because it's not building life in you. And some of you just need to know it's okay if it goes slower than I expected. It's okay if I lose money in the process. It's okay if I shift directions. It's okay, fill in the blank. And I mean this in the most loving way. I still believe in the covenant of marriage, despite the fact that I filed for a divorce. I am a woman who believes in marriage. I'm a wife. I tell any man I might date, I tell him I'm not a girlfriend, I'm a wife. Because a wife governs herself as such, whether she's married or not. I'm just currently not married to a husband, but I'm married to my purpose. Because when I find my husband that God has for me, he will be a part of my purpose, but he's not my whole purpose. And I'm not governing myself like I'm not a wife when I'm unmarried, because I'm going to be a wife, and I am a wife, and I'm a good wife. You get what I'm saying? So some of you, though, what I'm about to say is you need to stop looking at your spouse and your children. Right now, you have permission to answer this. This is about you. What do you need? And some of you, that is the most horrifying question I have ever asked you. I get it. It took me a lot of tears and a lot of work, baby, and a lot of willingness to be courageous and a lot of trust to find the right person after working with numerous therapists who suck to really get to that point, to figure out what it is I really need, what it is I really expect, releasing trauma, healing my neural pathways, whatever goal you're in. This is a process I had to go through when I wanted to get off opiates. And by the way, I created a protocol and I didn't have any kind of side effects. Why haven't I published it? Because 99% of the people won't do it. Because it demands a level of restraint and commitment and accountability that most people will not do. I have my own personal case study of how often people say they want something and won't do what it takes. But I was willing to do what it takes. People ask me all the time for a quick diet. I show my workouts outline. I talk about some of the work I'm doing, and they want just a few tips. It's not just a few tips, honey. This is grueling, hard commitment that is courageous and will not give up, because I will get my birthright and I will get breakthrough and I will hunt it like my life depends on it, because it does. People think it's all sexy to say you're a 2%er. And I know this can sound really arrogant and prideful. I'm not saying it's arrogantly or pridefully. I'm saying it because if you only knew half of what I have lived through, you would find out that I have a resilience that is very rare. And I believe with my whole heart, it is a part of the protocol of being a human being. It is not just reserved just for me. For some reason, even as a little girl, I fought. And some of you haven't fought for your destiny since you were a kid, which is why my mantle is expanding into this area where lovingly, kindly, like a boss, like a mom, like a trainer, like a coach, whatever you want to say, I can actually challenge you. I'm not a pastor. I'm not anointed to walk you through. I'm not. I don't like doing one-on-one coaching. Some people are anointed for that. I know people right now who are incredible with one-on-one, and doing this kind of stuff in a group makes them want to barf. This kind of stuff I love. This is what I'm anointed for. I'm an activator. But some of you won't let me activate you because you refuse to confront what's going on. And I get it. I have a whole lot of grace for it. I've got the questions on my phone. That's why I'm looking down at it. Because I wasn't where I am now 15 years ago. I wasn't where I am now 10 years ago. I had a different, the will to fight. You know, part of my healing and I'm going to share this with you vulnerably and truthfully because I think it's going to heal some of you. Part of my healing required that I admitted how freaking strong I was being raised by a psychopath as a caregiver. How freaking strong I was to have elders and pastors in the church I went to who are like the Stepford wives and that TV show with the red hoodie. I can laugh now, but it's not funny. I had to admit how freaking strong I was to survive that marriage for 24 years. What is it you really need? I love you. Here comes another one. This one's going to make some of you want to punch me. What are you willing to do? Now, some of you will immediately say, through tears and great emotion, anything. And this is why I want you to listen to this recording, even if you just listen to the audio. I want you to listen to it at least 3 times. Because once the dust settles of my kind of shocking and stirring your neural pathways and your belief system up, you're going to have to come to grips with what this answer is. And what you're willing to do doesn't matter if you don't know what you really need. I don't care. Doesn't matter. If you don't answer what you expect breakthrough to bring, and if you do not answer what is it you really need, saying what you're willing to do doesn't matter. Doesn't. That's a truth. You don't sell memberships with that kind of truth. You don't sell best-selling books with that kind of truth. I'm going to start my TED Talk one day. You mark my words. I'm prophesying it. I've been saying it into existence. I'm going to start my TED Talk one day to say, this is a TED Talk that most people won't want to play more than once. But here we go. It'll probably be played 100 million times. Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to allow your mind to fight against you because that's all it knows for survival? In order to get the brain out of survival, you have to get comfortable with how it will fight you. Do you know the major regret that I have that I didn't do what I'm doing now 24 years ago? Because I know that in that vault, over 800 hours of training, many people have made millions of dollars. Many people have made multiple 6 figures. And the number one most frustrating thing to me is how come people won't do it? That's what it's been. That's been the number one question to me. And I wish I knew what I know now. I wouldn't have taught it any differently. But I would have challenged people on what are you willing to do more? I would have challenged people on what is it you really need way more. I would have literally got into people's heads and said, what on earth do you expect breakthrough to bring? Because this whole concept of breakthrough, you have idolized and idealized. Some of you were groomed in your childhood to idealize things. Just think of the positive. Think about the possibility. It's not that bad. It's not that bad that dad hits us. It's not that bad. He didn't break my nose. It's not that bad that we had to sell our 5,000 square foot home and move into a 1,000 square foot apartment. It's not that bad. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. No, actually, you're definitely going to be fine in those things, but they hurt like hell. And many of us needed a parent to say that. I know this is hard, baby, but we're in it together. Many of us needed a caregiver to say, this is like so painful. I wish more mommies and daddies were saying that right now to children, teenagers going through this insane time period we're living in, where America is becoming a communist nation. We're already socialist, so our media is being censored. That's socialism. I wish more parents would say, I don't have all the answers, baby. And I know it's so painful. Let's cry together. Let's hold on to each other. We're going to get through this. You don't have to always tell people, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Especially when you don't know if it's going to be. What if it's going to be hard as hell? Scary as hell. What if it's going to be excruciating? Well, if you said that but I'm with you and I will not leave you and I got you. And we're going through this together. More children and teens would not have mental health problems today with idealism and positive, toxic positivity. Yes, be optimistic. Yes, be hopeful. Yes, walk by faith. Yes, call those things that are not as though they were. Yes, be like Abraham with an expectant hope that what God promised, he will do. But stop idealizing that the process, because he's a good God, isn't going to be hard. Childbirth is hard AF. It hurts like hell. And the women in the house are all like, and at the end of all that, we get an incredible baby. What are you willing to do? Confront that belief. Okay? So here's the thing. We talked last week where you need breakthrough. Most of you just idealize it by saying, I need more money. And I love you enough to tell you that many of you, if more money dropped in your bank account today, you wouldn't know what the heck to do with it. Because you have been obsessing, idealizing, materializing this so-called financial miracle that you think you need. Yet the majority of us who've ever had a financial miracle, a lot of us don't handle it well. Anytime money just dropped in my lap, I'll lead. I did not handle it well. Some of you, rather than praying for more money, ought to pray that God will help you manage the money you got. Some of you, rather than praying for more followers on social media, ought to dive into the deep end and take care of all the ones you got so far. Quit idealizing what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen the next day, what's going to happen when you finally get enough followers, what's going to happen when people finally do an engagement, what's going to happen when somebody finally discovers your hashtag, what's going to happen when you finally make $10,000, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. The breakthrough that you need is to break that lie. That's the breakthrough you need. That's not really the breakthrough you need. The breakthrough you need is that you believe you can do it. And you're thinking making $10,000 is actually going to make you believe you can do it. Nah, you'll come up with some other thing. Trust me, I did it. I do it. Some of you think I just need more engagement and I'll be happy too. And I'll be one of those people on Instagram who's always smiling and their skin looks pretty and all this kind of stuff. And they eat dinner with their spouse and everything's perfect. Once I got enough people engaging with me on social media, I'll have that happy life too. Do you see how you're being sold idealism? What are you willing to do? And confront the belief. Many of you can't and won't make the kind of money that you actually know how to make because you don't believe you deserve it. So what do you expect breakthrough to bring once you finally believe you deserve it? What is it that you really need so that you actually can believe you deserve it? What are you willing to do that will help you understand that you deserve it? God never told you you didn't deserve it, so stop using him as your scapegoat. Oh, some of you are just like, chapter and verse, please. Where God says, some of you deserve success and some of you deserve to fail. Chapter and verse, please. If you make $100,000, you better give it all away because you don't deserve to keep what you worked hard for. You need to bring that to my kingdom. What the heck does that mean anyway? Chapter and verse, please. My Bible talks about giving. Yeah. My Bible talks about tithes and offering. Yes. My Bible talks about not having my treasures here on earth. That doesn't say anything about the car I drive, the amount of money I make, the size house I have, or how big my diamond is. It doesn't say anything about that. That's man's interpretation because of a fear of just losing control. Like, God forbid that all of you should make $1 million. Ah! The Bible even admonishes those in authority. Stop leading those people with constraint, for crying out loud. Lead with humility, lest you be tempted also. Some of you, literally, the fact that I said you actually deserve to be successful are like you got sermons running through your memory. You went somewhere else. You were dissociating. You did not hear what I said for the last 3 minutes. You are trying to prove to me that somehow or another, God only wants you to be successful to show how great he is for his glory, whatever the hell that means. And you're supposed to give it all away. Like, how is you being successful for his glory, but you feel like crap and you got to give it all away and you can't enjoy any of it? What? Do you believe all these demons that we believe in? Like, what? But some of you have never actually written that out. And until you go deep and confront it, why do I believe I don't deserve it? Why? What qualifies you for not deserving and me for deserving? I guarantee you, I can fight with you. I can come up with 10 reasons why I didn't deserve it. Until I realized that actually God wants us both to be successful. Until I realized that there's a thing called capacity. And there's also a thing called growing your gifts. Some of you have been growing your gifts for the last 10 years. You just haven't activated them because you're terrified and you're still telling yourself you don't deserve it. And you think you still got to grow your gifts and you're still acting like you're in kindergarten. And some of you are like in 12th grade when it comes to the level of your gift, but you would never. I get it. I have the capacity to make way more than I'm making right now. And I'm confronting those beliefs, so I'm not. And it's not going to take any more hours either. Confront the belief. Confront it. Some of you are like, because I made a couple million before and I lost it all and it made my I just brought all this havoc on my family and all this distress. And I was working 120 hours a week and so is the truth that you don't deserve it, or is the truth that you need better restraint? Is the truth that you don't deserve it, or is the truth that you need to admit, I need better accountability? Is the truth that you don't deserve it, or is the truth that you actually have to do it a different way and no more dissociating from everything in your life and acting like you're an entrepreneur? You know, like people who use their business as a freaking excuse. I'm building my business, kids. That's why I can talk to you. I'm building my business. That's why I can't go on date night whenever my husband wants to. I'm building my business. I can't have sex for the third time this week with my spouse. I'm building my business. That's why I can't sleep. I'm building my business. That's why I'm not working out. I'm building my business. That's why I'm not building your business. You're not dealing with the real issue. And the real issue is something inside of you is breaking and you don't want to talk about it. Something inside of you is shattered and you don't want to get some therapy to help it. Confront. Where's it coming from? What is the truth? What is the truth? Here's another one. I love you. Mean it. Really do. Now, some of you have been groomed with false responsibility. Some of you have been groomed with a demonic lie that somebody called accountability. Some of you have been groomed by parents or a caregiver or somebody to the point that you were made to feel that anything that was required of whatever situation, it needed to come from you first. And that's something you need to heal. I get that. But there's also something that is required of you in order for you to receive your breakthrough. Jesus is not some magic trick. And he's not going to come wave his, wand of miracles over you. And all of a sudden you're going to get breakthrough. Sometime to get your miracle, you got to go sit under that leader and do what they say. Sometime to get your miracle, like I remember when I had a profound miracle that happened underneath the anointing of Randy Clark. And I had not experienced anything like that before through someone. I had experienced multiple medical miracles and breakthroughs virtually under the sound of some teaching, which is why I'm not surprised God anointed me for this. But there was still something that was required of me. Because you see, I would maybe listen to some teaching or study something in my Bible or study something that God was showing me online. And it would be required of me that for me to believe that it was going to work. It was required of me to actually do it. It was required of me to complete it, even if I didn't like it. Do you know how much I hate this exercise that Brandy has me do that's really good for your underbooty? Like you have to hold this weight and like you have to go like this and go all the way down. And then you have to come all the way up. And then you got to go all the way down. Like this whole area in your underbooty, like, oh my gosh, you can tell how many years I've been sitting on my hiney at a desk. It hurts. I hate it. It's uncomfortable. And I tell her all the time, I don't like that. She looks at me and goes, I know. But in order to get a toned underbooty, so sorry for all the description, it is required of me to do that. And it is required when 20 pounds gets easy to start using more. It was required of me the other day to do a couple 100 pounds on my reverse deadlift. It is required of me. Do you get what I mean? Some of you that made you laugh. Some of you are like, ow, it hurts just thinking about it. Some of you, it is required of you to go get a therapist. I don't care that the person who violated you went to therapy their whole life. That doesn't mean therapy is not going to work for you. That means therapy didn't work for that person. There could be a umpteen million reasons why. They could have DID and they basically were being talked at and talking to. They could be a psychopath and they know how to entertain even their therapist and they don't care. My very first predator was that. Went to therapy most of my life. It was very difficult for me to submit and to do what was required for breakthrough. I would have just preferred that God would continue to wave his magic wand and heal me like I thought he was going to do. Because like that's what it sounded like when I heard testimonies. I didn't realize that, God required me. And again, God doesn't prescriptionize things. We do. There was a time when it was very uncomfortable. I was getting ready to have surgery on my neck. I had had more than 8 doctors tell me that they were afraid I was going to get reflex sympathetic dystrophy in my upper extremities, which causes many people to commit suicide, knowing that I had had it in my foot. And it was the most excruciating pain I'd ever experienced in my life. The circulation stopped working in my foot. My foot started growing extra hair. It turned purple. It did heal, I'm happy to tell you. Reflex sympathetic dystrophy is no joke. I couldn't even have imagined having it in my arms and all over my chest. Couldn't have imagined it. And we were still looking for one more surgeon. One more surgeon looking for, what do you require of me, God, for me to get this breakthrough? And I know somebody told me that Randy Clark has a healing mantle. And I thought, what can it hurt? I honestly, with all sincerity, did not believe I was going to get healed. Take that one up with God. I thought you needed to have all kinds of faith. And that's why you get healed. And if you didn't get healed, it's because you didn't have enough faith. That's just prescriptionizing things. That's taking scripture out of context. I can't tell you why it worked. But I do know that I had enough faith that even though it hurt like heck, I almost threw up in the bathroom at the airport. There was some moron who kept following me around the airport, telling me she just wanted to talk to me. And I was like going to barf on her any moment and she wouldn't go away. I was in so much pain. I was on 140 milligrams of Oxycontin still. I was on 90 milligrams of prednisone. My whole freaking body hurt. Flying was not comfortable. And I had to fly through turbulence to get to where he was, a 6-hour flight. It was not fun. And I had to sleep in something that wasn't my own bed. I mean, it was uncomfortable. But my heart was open. And the music started. And I remember shutting my eyes and raising my hands and just going, God, I'm here. That's the only faith I had. And I heard them introduce Randy Clark, and my hands were up and my eyes were shut, and he walked down the aisle. And the presence of God went down the aisle. And the next day I was standing on that stage going, yeah, I couldn't leg press 585 pounds if my neck was still in that situation. That's not how God has healed everything for me. I wish he would have. I would have loved to have gone to, I've been through sozo and deliverance and restoring the foundations, more than 4 weeks of restoring the foundation over the course of a couple of years. When you add the time up, like there's really not much I haven't done. But some of the things God required me to work through it on a heart level. Some of the things didn't have anything to do with what he was going to change in my body. In order for me to receive the impartation of what he's given me to help guide you through this, to write what I believe is going to be the single greatest work that I've ever written in my whole life, on what, getting trauma out of your brain does, and why the church has missed this, and what we can do to help people, I would never have that if it wasn't for the hundreds of hours I was willing to study, if it wasn't for walking courageously, if it wasn't for being willing to trust, even though other therapists wanted to take advantage of me, other therapists wanted to use my large platform for their own gain, other therapists wanted to lead me through all kinds of cockamamie, cuckoo, voodoo, whatever. It was required of me to keep going. I would have preferred to have just been in a church service and had God remove the trauma. Some of you, he might. He didn't me. Doesn't mean I don't have enough faith. That's because what he was going to do is going to require something of me I never had any idea. I had no idea. I had no idea that all of this would continue to add up and lead to now. I had no idea. And I'm still healing. I'm going for another week in California in August. So what is required of you? This is what some of you, it might be required of you. Write this down. To get better habits. Number 1, a work schedule you don't get to break. It might be required of you to get a work schedule you're not allowed to break. See, most of you fit in your business when you can. You say that you're in business. You say that you have set hours, but you know that you know that you know. And it's time for you to be honest with yourself, because none of us need to hear it, but you need to be honest with yourself that actually you're fitting it in when you can. And yet you expect it to pay you more than a regular job one day. You expect that while you're fitting it in when you can, one day you're going to get, in this whatever position you think you're going to get in, and maybe your kids won't be at home or blah, 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 blah. Baby, I live alone and I still can't fit my business in whenever I feel like it, or I won't do it. Just won't do it. I can't fit my workout in whenever I feel like it. It is hard stamped on my calendar. But many of you are fitting in your business when you feel like it and expecting it to pay you more than a job. Your beliefs are not that of an entrepreneur. Your beliefs are that of a hobbyist. And your hobbies don't pay you money. You actually go in debt with a hobby. Some of you need a new work schedule that you don't get to break. And that doesn't mean you're allowed to hard code 9 to 5 if you can't even be faithful with 2 hours a day right now. Some of you, it's going to be like coming off crack cocaine to stop looking at your Instagram and your Facebook and talking to your friends and doing all the things that make your psyche feel good rather than what you're supposed to do. Some of you might be required to take your phone, put it in a basket on the top of your refrigerator from 9 a.m. till noon, and get your butt in your office in front of your computer and do what you know to do. Some of you might need to take your phone and get it away from you. If you're expecting to build a business on just a phone, you are deceived. It's like expecting to have a job that's going to pay you really good money, but like you can show up whenever you feel like you only need to bring your phone. Everybody's going to tell you what you need to do every single day, and all the other delusions. Some of you need a schedule. What might be required is some of you need to admit, I don't have a schedule. Never have had a schedule. Been pretending like I have a schedule, and I waste 4 or 5 hours a day. Some of you, it's time to tell the truth. Tell the truth. What's going to happen? Oh my God, you might get breakthrough. Tell the truth. Some of you, what's going to be required of you is accountability that you don't get to ignore. Some of you might have to hire a performance coach. Some of you, and the first thing I said that some of you were like, I don't know who, and I don't know where, I don't know how. I don't know. I haven't spent an hour looking on Google. No, I haven't really done a whole lot of research. And so, like, how am I going to have better accountability? I don't know how. Do you see how deeply seated that root belief is of I don't know how? If your child had cancer and it was imperative that you find a performance coach for them to live, oh my gosh, you'd find one by the end of the day. Sorry, that's my reminder to eat. It's in order for me to get my muscles and my body where I need to, I have to eat every 3 hours. And if I don't set an alarm, I won't. So I set alarms. I have another one set, by the way, for 1 o'clock. Some of you, in order to get breakthrough, need to set time-specific goals that you don't get to flex. Some of you need to set okay, we need our website colors. We need our graphics. We're going to need our first 3 blog posts. We're going to need our first 3 social media posts. We need to get our opt-in offer. We get to who does what, and we need to have timestamps. And some of you say, I didn't know that. Well, how did you expect the website to go up? Who's going to pick out the colors? How do you think these pretty websites get built? How do you think people create content every day? They have to do research, not guessing. Some of you are like, I don't have time for research. And then you're just like, I don't know what to post on social media. That's like me sitting in the middle of the 101 freeway in Arizona and saying, I don't have time to figure out how to get to California, but I'm going to sit here somehow or another and figure out like where I'm supposed to go. And I'm just sitting there in the middle of the 101. And I'll tell you, when you start confronting your beliefs, that's, that some of you are going to feel dumb, but you shouldn't. You should not allow yourself to feel that way. And if you do start feeling dumb or feeling stupid and you've avoided that your whole life, then you need to ask yourself, why do I feel dumb? Most of you are dismissing every question that comes up, and it's time to start answering the question, why do I feel stupid? Why do I feel like I can't do it just because I failed that other thing? Why every time my spouse gets in an argument with me, do I feel like giving up? Is that my spouse's fault or is that me? And if you say it's me, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe your spouse has an incredible knack to humiliate. Maybe you both need to get some therapy. I told you this wasn't easy. You all thought I was going to come to you with like this 3-step plan that if you just do this and then you do this key strategy, you're going to get quantifiable results and you're going to have these systematic steps that all you have to do is follow these key strategies and you are going to have greater wealth. Not if you think you don't deserve success. Everything that I just said, quantifiable results, systematic steps, critical key strategies, unlocking greater wealth, all that, it's in the vault. But if you believe it's going to be hard, if you believe like, oh my gosh, this is going to take 100 hours. Yeah. Have you checked how many hours people do on average in college per semester? Why did you think, I'm going to read it back to you, that you could just fit this in, but it's going to pay you more than a regular job? Why did I believe, ask yourself, that this was going to be easy? And no fear being a victim, because these marketers, they make it sound so easy, because I watch these people and they just make it sound so easy. And everybody's been lying to me. So confront your belief anyway. I'm not lying to you. Thanks so much again for listening to this podcast episode. And as you have been listening to today's masterclass, I want to invite you to become an Inner Circle member. You can get $70 off our regular price. Our new price is only $27 for a limited time if you go to arealchange.com/inner circle. We'd love to have you there. I host 2 masterclasses every month with a couple-hour sessions. We have live Q&A, over 800 hours of recorded audio and video in our academy. And we have a track record of raising up 6- and 7-figure earners. If you just want to put some more cash into your bank account, you want to pay off your debt, or you're really looking for a great way to change your life, go to arealchange.com/inner circle. And you can get $70 off today. I look forward to seeing you in the group. And until then, have a wonderful day. And don't ever forget who you are.